Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into one of the most talked about conspiracy theories in history. The moon landing was faked. Strap in because we're going full cinematic, full suspense, but also full fact. This theory has persisted for over 50 years, igniting debates in classrooms, barbershops, internet forums, and even science conferences. From backyard telescope enthusiasts to Hollywood producers and international politicians, everyone has an opinion. But what's really behind the belief that humanity never set foot on the moon? Why does this theory refuse to die, even in the face of overwhelming scientific evidence? Let's find out. The big question: what if I told you we never went to the moon? That every grain of lunar soil, every grainy broadcast, every proud stamp of history was all a Hollywood stage trick? Sounds wild, right? Yet for decades, a small but vocal group insists it's all a hoax. And these aren't just random internet trolls. We're talking authors, engineers, and even former NASA contractors. They believe in one of the biggest orchestrated lies in history, all for Cold War optics, national pride, and global domination of the narrative. What makes a theory like this so sticky? It's not just about science or facts. It's about emotion, identity, and the intoxicating allure of forbidden knowledge. Origins of the theory. The moon landing conspiracy gained real traction in the 1970s. America was going through a turbulent period. Vietnam, Watergate, social upheaval. Enter Bill Kaysing. A former Rocketdyne employee, Kaysing self-published "We Never Went to the Moon," America's $30 billion swindle. His claims? NASA lacked the technology. The Van Allen radiation belts would have fried the astronauts. And the photographs? Filled with contradictions. He wasn't alone. The post-60s era saw growing public skepticism toward government institutions. People felt betrayed, and conspiracies began to flourish. Trust was fragile, and once it breaks, it's hard to glue back together. This theory wasn't born in a vacuum. It was born in a time of doubt, and doubt, once seeded, spreads fast. The photos that sparked doubt. Moon hoax believers often start with the photos. No stars in the sky, strange lighting, a flag that seems to wave. Let's break it down. 1. The missing stars cameras on the moon were adjusted for daylight exposure. The surface is incredibly bright, reflecting sunlight. With those settings, stars wouldn't show up. Just like if you take a photo during the day and look for stars, you won't find them. 2. The waving flag. NASA used a metal rod to extend the flag, so it wouldn't hang limp. When astronauts twisted it into the ground, it rippled, and with no air to stop it, the motion lingered. It wasn't waving, it was wobbling. 3. Odd shadows, uneven terrain, plus one light source, the sun, equals perspective trickery. Similar distortions happen here on Earth. In every case, science explains the illusion, but conspiracy thrives where context is missing. And let's be real, a photograph without understanding is just a prompt for our imagination to run wild. Stanley Kubrick and Hollywood speculation. Now enter Stanley Kubrick, director of 2001, A Space Odyssey. Meticulous, visionary. Some believe Kubrick was hired to stage the landings. They cite camera movements, perfect lighting, symbolism in his later film The Shining, interpreted as a confession. But guess what? There's no real evidence, no contract, no testimony, nothing from his family or colleagues. It's a myth inside a myth. This isn't journalism, it's entertainment, rebranded as revelation. And yet, Kubrick's name is now entangled in lunar lore. Proof that fiction, repeated often enough, starts to feel like truth. The challenge of secrecy. Let's be honest. If this were a hoax, how would it even work? You'd need a film crew, scientists, engineers, actors, politicians, and every single one of them would have to stay silent for 50+ years. Over 400,000 people worked on Apollo. Do you really think no one leaked? No deathbed confession? No document? No evidence? Real conspiracies leak. This one never has. Not a single credible insider has come forward. That's not how secrets work. Even Watergate couldn't stay hidden, and that involved only a handful of people. International confirmation. Let's not forget the Cold War. The Soviets were watching closely. They tracked the launches, analyzed the signals. They had every reason to expose America's failure. But they didn't, because the landing happened. Today, space agencies from Japan, India, China, and Europe have all imaged the Apollo sites. You can see the remnants, the landers, the tracks. Why would these nations, often in rivalry with the US, support a lie? The evidence speaks for itself. This isn't just American history, it's global science. Physical science that holds up. Science doesn't care about politics. Apollo missions returned over 800 pounds of lunar rock. These samples contain unique isotopic ratios, crystal structures, and micrometeorite pitting not found on Earth. They were shared with international labs. No one's ever proven them fake. Then there's the laser retroreflectors. Still working. You can bounce a laser off the moon and measure the distance. And seismographs placed by Apollo recorded moonquakes for years. You can fake a video. You can't fake geology, or physics, or independent replication. And science lives on replication. Media mistrust and mind games. So why do conspiracy theories thrive? It's not about logic. It's about narrative. In a world where real scandals happen, it becomes easier to suspect everything. Add low media literacy and algorithmic echo chambers, and you have a recipe for viral misinformation. People don't verify, they share. And the more we share, the more it spreads. Conspiracies aren't just beliefs, they're contagious stories. The psychology of belief. Believing the moon landing was faked taps into something deeper than doubt. It's about identity, the desire to be in on the real truth, the rush of thinking you see what others miss. But skepticism without investigation isn't wisdom, it's laziness, dressed as critical thinking. The real question is, are we curious or just cynical? Inside NASA, walk through NASA today, and you'll see thousands of mission logs, blueprints, footage reels, and engineering marvels. Talk to the people who were there. They remember, in detail. The effort to fake all of that data, telemetry, audio, fuel logs, mission transcripts, would have been more complex than just going. And they did go. The footprints, the records, the math, it all checks out. A legacy larger than the moon. Apollo didn't just land us on the moon, it sparked revolutions in computing, telecommunications, aerospace, and education. It inspired generations to dream bigger, reach higher, and question deeper. Faking it, that would have robbed humanity of one of its proudest moments. This wasn't just a mission. It was a moment when humanity looked up and stepped forward. Final questions. Still think it was fake? Then ask, why has no credible whistleblower come forward? Why do global scientists back the evidence? Why do independent satellites confirm Apollo sites? Why has no one disproven the physics? Because truth holds. Lies unravel. Every time this theory is tested, it breaks. Looking forward. NASA's Artemis program is returning us to the moon. SpaceX is building the tools. China and India are in the race. This time, it will all be streamed. Documented, unmistakable. The moon is calling again. And we're answering. This isn't the end of the story. It's a new chapter. Outro. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me. Whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or just curious, I hope this gave you more to think about. Question boldly, but investigate deeply. The moon is out there, we've been there, and we'll be back. Until next time, stay curious,